Okay, you got your charging cable, Dee?
Yeah, just now. Just now I ran over to the house and got the deal. Yeah.
Got gas for your car?
Yes, thank you for letting me go get gas for my car.
Are you ready?
I'm totally ready. So,
Okay.
should we start with our original teaser? What was it?
The original teaser was, sorry you were sick last week, Dee, and
Oh
I
my
hope you are
God.
feeling better.
Yeah, much better.
But it was my fault too because I pushed us to the 10th, 11th hour, as they say.
Yeah.
So, did you do anything these last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I moved into a brand new house.
As you announced on Instagram, we've been sitting on that secret for a while, haven't we,
Yes,
Dee?
for
Or you
about a
have.
month. We've been sitting on that secret that I was going to move, but I finally announced it and people are freaking out.
So you haven't been on your computer much if the charging cable was at the old house because you moved, what, 10 days ago?
No, 7 days.
7.
Yeah.
7.
Not even 7.
Anyway.
I moved in on a Thursday. So it's only been like 5 days, right?
No, it's been 10.
Okay. Carol would know. Dee would not. It's all a blur, Carol. I've been really, really busy.
So needless to say, not everything has been moved.
No. Look at these blank walls. No.
I see those blank walls. Anyway, why don't you get started with the new episode?
Welcome to the Garden Angelus, where we chat about flowers, veggies, and all the best dirt. I am Dee Nash from Guthrie, Oklahoma, where I don't. I do not have a large, well, I do.
I wrote a new thing for you, Dee. Read on, I wrote a new thing.
Well, I mean, I do, but okay. Where I once had a large garden out in the country, but now I have an empty suburban yard that I can't wait to add some garden to. But I still have the old garden also, so I'm going to have to keep up with that for a little while. All right.
There you go. I'm Carol Michael from Indianapolis, Indiana. I still have a suburban garden measured in square feet. It's about a third of an acre. And obviously, I have not moved. My stuff is all behind me.
Yay. I'm so happy that you haven't moved. We are Garden Angelists because we love gardening. We would love for you to love it too.
Yes, we do. And we aren't afraid to spill all of our gardening secrets, the good, the bad, even the ugly. But let's move on to this week's episode. Good afternoon, Dee, on Sunday.
Yes.
The 1st.
Yes. Tell me about your garden.
So I won't go back for an entire 2 weeks. Actually, I didn't do much for 2 weeks. I did go back outside yesterday. It was a lovely day, and I cut the old foliage off the hellebores. I cleaned up the front porch. And when I was out there, Dee, I'm so embarrassed. I start trimming up the hellebores. I find my trowel, my good sneeboard trowel, buried under a bunch of leaves out there, and it isn't in an area where I was even planting anything.
Maybe a neighborhood puppy dog picked up your trowel and moved it. I don't know.
I have just 2 words to say. Yeah. Garden fairies.
Oh, could be them.
So anyway, I also got a text from the greenhouse Thursday. She texted me and said a picture of some of the frizzle sizzle pansies were blooming. Yeah. And she said, basically, I could come anytime, but it was cold Friday, nice Saturday, cold yet today. And it's supposed to rain a bunch. But anyway, so we'll talk about more in that updates.
We'll see if that happens,
Right.
Who knows?
But anyway, stuff's really blooming outside, and pelargoniums in the garage are looking good. I kind of fussed with them a little bit this morning. And anyway, let's get going on your update, Dee, because yours is far more interesting than mine.
I mean, not really yet. We moved a bunch of the pots over here with the roses. And then yesterday, Brennan moved my two of my hose reels. I had 6. I don't need 6 anymore.
You don't need 6 in your new garden.
I can't tell you. I mean, so it's bittersweet when I go over there, right? Because stuff is starting to bloom. And I did get a little teary today on the way back, but mostly I'm really happy because it's much simpler. And I did a video today on Instagram about all the ugliness that the landscaper put in at this house.
I saw that.
Oh my gosh, it's so ugly. But
I'll link to it in the show notes.
But I'm going to make it pretty. And tomorrow I'm going to talk about how we're going to expand that garden bed and all that stuff and make it more beautiful. But Brennan brought over my watering system. I bought a new hose that I don't think I've told you about this hose. We used these hoses at the greenhouse when I worked last fall, and they're metal. And you would think that would make them heavy, but they're not heavy. They're wonderful, and they don't kink. They're just pretty darn amazing. So I bought one, and I'm going to put it on this front faucet on the hose reel to see if it'll just be easier. Because I love my rubber hoses because they don't kink, but they are really
Well,
heavy.
I buy those lightweight, like almost fabric
Yeah.
ones. And I will say that they will kink, but they're so lightweight that I can just lift it off and I can drag it around and
This is how
I
this
smooth
is
out the
too.
kinks.
So lightweight. We do the fabric ones at the greenhouse too, but they get such heavy use that they wear out real fast. So we tried this metal one and it was everybody's favorite hose last fall. So I
Cool.
bought one and we'll link to it in the show notes or in the newsletter. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that drawer pop open. And so I brought over some of my roses. I did trim up some roses last week, but I need to trim up some more. And what else did I do in the garden? Not much because I've been really busy in the house, just trying to
Really? What have
move
you been doing, Dee, besides being sick and
and moving. Yeah, I got really sick while I was moving and I still sound sick, but I'm not. That's just pollen from eastern red cedars. Juniperus virginiana. I hate that plant.
ugh,
It's pretty bad right now. So anyway, I got really sick with some kind of virus and I was sick the whole move and I kept thinking, I'm going to die. But it wasn't because of the move. I thought I was out of shape. It was because I was sick, which had to
sounds good.
point
Well,
out
let's
to
play.
me. Let's play favorites. I have mine. Do you want to hear
Okay.
mine? And
Yeah.
then you can do yours. Mine's my Ribby's odoratum, my clove currant. It was blooming today. I took a bunch of pictures of it. Your turn.
It's really all the long crocuses again and again and again. They look marvelous. You can really tell how much they are multiplying and filling in. It looked as good as ever. And my neighbor on the other side, he said he looked over the fence. He said, it's just beautiful over there. And I said, thank you. And a bonus thing, we talked several weeks ago about winter aconites and how they're kind of hard to get established.
Yes.
And I don't know that mine are established, but the ones that I planted last fall have come up and they are blooming. So they get like a bonus mention.
Yeah, mine were blooming the other day, and I was really
And
glad to
the
see
funny thing
them.
is, I was looking for them in the wrong spot. I don't know why I thought I had planted them in this one area and I clearly planted them
What,
someplace
Carol?
else.
You mean you?
What?
What? You don't know where every
What?
plant is in your garden every moment of every day? Oh, please. So
No,
surprised.
no.
Okay, so question of the week. Are we ready?
Yes, I've got a text from my nephew and he and his wife had noticed a couple little like tulips that were poking up and he said, should we go ahead and mulch now?
Well, I mean, in
And
Oklahoma, you can mulch all year long. I don't know what you do in Indiana.
there's no point in mulching now. I mean, in
I
Indiana,
wouldn't mulch
I would
tulips now.
I wouldn't mulch tulips. I would wait until I know they have a lot of perennials and stuff.
Yeah,
Once the perennials kind of
they
come up,
break.
that's when, if they feel like they have to add more mulch, that's when I would do it. I wouldn't do it now.
And don't go crazy with the mulch. I saw two gardens this week where people had mulched the crowns of their plants and the plants
No, no,
rotted
no.
and they were wondering why the plant disappeared. And I was like, well, it rotted. And so I'm really busy with garden coaching again, by the way, like a
Good.
lot. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to mulch, but that's because I have the ugliest black dyed mulch in my garden and it must go.
That's coming out
Oh
of
my
there.
gosh, yeah. So fast.
Okay. The second question I got is from my younger sister yesterday. She texts me and she says, is it too late to order seeds?
For what?
I'm like, what?
For what? It depends on what it is.
For anything. It's not too
No,
late
it's
to
not
order
too late to
seeds.
order them, but maybe it'd be too late to plant beets here or whatever. But here's the thing. You can order seeds all year long if you want to.
Yeah. And then I told her also she could go down to like the couple of the garden centers have great selections of seeds. They have botanical interest. They have Renee's garden seeds. They had, I can't remember the others. Lowe's has got seeds. Menards has got seeds. And so I said, go look at the seeds and just buy some,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Do that first. Unless you want certain
Yeah.
zinnias. If you want certain zinnias, you probably want to go order them quick. Which
Yeah. Which reminds
I
me,
don't know when I'm going to.
Instagram keeps showing me ads for t-shirts because I wear t-shirts, I guess. But there's one that says zinnia season. And
You
I
sent it
sent
to
that as
me. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I
It's
said, no,
orange.
I'm not buying that today. All right, insect of the week. Oh, this is interesting because I had one in my house yesterday.
House centipedes.
Mhm.
are the creepiest things that ever crawl out from under something, usually at night,
Yep.
usually when the lights are down low,
Yep.
or you walk in a room and there's one and you stunned it because they like the
Yeah,
dark.
they do.
Kill or keep?
I don't, I don't have that many. They don't bother me.
I tend to see them in the summertime. I don't see them this time of year because they do like things that are more moisture. But I looked up on Bob Vila's website. Remember him
Yeah, from
from
this whole house.
Yankee, This Old House?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, they are natural pest control if you can stand them.
Mm-hmm.
They eat flies, ants, moths, silverfish, spiders, cockroaches. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
But where you have one, they said there could be 100 more lurking elsewhere, which is not fun to know.
Uh-huh.
Very nocturnal, so you will not see
I guess
them.
they don't bother me
Like I
because I
said,
don't see them.
yeah, when you turn on a light real quick in a dark room, boom,
I've
there
seen them.
you might
Yeah, I
see
saw
one.
one yesterday at the old
But
house.
if you don't like them,
You can
you
do
can put out
traps.
sticky traps,
Uh-huh.
which might catch the bugs they're eating and also might catch them.
Yeah.
And then also you might think about putting, it said, areas of high moisture like bathrooms. So if you take a shower, run your overhead fan for like 5 minutes to dry the air out a little bit so they're not as tempted to be in there. So
Okay.
anyway, I do see centipedes and, good luck catching them. They're very fast because
So
they have a lot of legs.
that reminds me of something funny. If you move into a new house in a new neighborhood, everyone comes to visit. The security guy comes to visit, and the pesticide guy comes to visit. Okay.
Ah,
Yeah, at your front door. And this guy came to visit and he was like, "So who are you using to spray your house?" And I was like, "Nobody." In my head, you know. And then he proceeded to tell me all the things he would do to this house. And I thought, not only would it be scary for the insects and the birds, which by the way, we have a bunch of bluebirds in this area, a bunch. I've been seeing all the scouts
that's
and
good.
hearing them. But we would also be dangerous for us, all the things he wanted to do. I was
Oh
like, good
yeah.
Lord, no,
The,
don't do all
yeah.
those things.
I see a couple neighbors that regularly have like the pest company visit. I'm thinking, what pests do they have? And why do they have to visit so often?
Exactly.
And what are they doing? And I'm like,
Yeah, well, he told me everything he would do, and I was like horrified. So I said, okay, well, I have to talk to my husband. Thanks. No,
there you go. I've used that excuse
that one's
sometimes.
very helpful. I have to talk to my
Even though I
husband.
don't have a husband,
It,
I say I need to talk to my husband.
yeah, it works every time. They go away. Okay, do the quote.
Gardens turn ordinary days into moments worth remembering. Evan Rowley.
Beautiful. And so for
Yep.
flowers, you did the Year of the Impatiens from National Garden Bureau, which is very
Yes.
interesting because impatiens are a thing.
Impatiens are very popular, and we're talking about the Impatiens walleriana, which is what a common
The
name is
Betty.
Busy Lizzie.
Yeah.
But these are the ones, and I know normally around here I see the Beacon series,
Mm-hmm.
resistant to the downy mildew that caused
Here
like a
too.
complete wipeout of impatiens several years ago.
Yes.
And so my advice to anybody buying impatiens is make sure you're buying, I hate to say it, a branded variety like Beacon, because it's been just phenomenal for me.
Yeah, do that
And most,
or grow, and then they aren't the same impatiens, but you can always grow New Guinea impatiens or sun
that's the
patiens.
next thing I was going to talk
Oh, okay,
about. New
sorry.
Guinea impatiens. Also, they are genetically resistant to the downy mildew, and
Yes.
there's tons in that series. Everybody knows about the sun patients, which survive in sunny weather. And now I have noticed from your Instagram post that you put out before you announced that you had moved and like shut down the internet, basically crashed the internet.
Not
If
really.
I'm not mistaken, your front faces east
Yeah.
and
That
your
was one
back
of
faces
the
west.
selling points of the house. Yeah.
So you are getting some great morning sun in the front.
Hmm.
You're getting some great evening sun in the
Yep.
back. So the north side then is the side with the garages,
Yes, and it has a
correct?
sidewalk that runs down the side of the garage, so I probably won't be planting much there.
Right. And then obviously the south side is the other side of the house.
Right, but it has shade, so that's nice.
A little bit of shade. There's a couple
There's
of
a couple of
little stand of
yeah,
trees.
there's a couple of stands of trees. I noticed that my next door neighbor has a male eastern red cedar that I'm going to offer to cut down. It's right on like the edge of their property and mine, and I'm going to offer to cut it down and chop up the roots and the stem, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
trunk.
And once you explain the problem,
And then I'll say I'll plant something there that's beautiful. What I'm going to do
sure.
first is plant beautiful here.
Yes. But back to impatience.
Sorry,
So,
why are we talking about where my house faces?
because
They need shade.
you have some shade, oddly enough, on the south side, which is the way my house is because I face south, but I had planted this big crabapple. So my front porch and the whole area under the crabapple is in shade all day long
Right.
because even though it's south facing. So that would be a good place to plant impatiens if I wanted to.
Yeah, we grow them in the
In
shade.
addition,
You can grow some patients in the sun, but they have to have a lot of water, and they don't really love Oklahoma sun. I'm sure they're fine in Indiana.
oh, everything's fine in Indiana, Dee.
And someone's going to write in and say, "But Dee, I plant my sun patients in the sun, and they do great." Yeah, I mean, they'll fade. The leaves will fade out if we have a really hot summer. So I would say put them on morning sun. That's what I would do.
You can get some sun patients that have a variegated leaf, the yellow
Yes, I've grown them actually.
and then there's one other impatient I wanted to bring up, which is the balsam, garden balsam.
Yeah, I've never grown that, but I remember that from that
So yeah,
show
we were watching Hopwood Hall videos a while back,
on YouTube.
and impatiens balsamina is a half hardy annual, they say.
Yeah.
Very self-sowing, and they showed in that property weeding like crazy to try to pull those out because they had just naturalized everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And these were getting 2 and 3 feet tall, so this isn't just like a little ground cover running around.
No, it's a big old thing. Mm-hmm.
So,
I would
but
say they're invasive
yeah,
because I don't think they're native there, are they?
they're not native there. They're native to the Asia somewhere. The websites I looked at for here, they use the word rampant self-sowing. They did not use the word invasive, but
But
but on that
extremely
Hopwood Hall,
aggressive.
have you watched those lately?
I know he's having a lot of trouble with
It's a
the
lot of legal
city.
problem. The town council, the city council said you're not making enough progress, and then they locked him and all his volunteers out, and so they've been in court for well over a year, I think, trying to get back in.
Yeah, yeah,
Concerned that all their work has gone downhill because nobody's there to maintain it. It's kind of a
yeah.
mess.
And Jeremy, I mean, the same thing happens with Jeremy. What's his face and his
Jeremy
farm.
Clarkson.
Yeah, yeah. These cities have I don't know, they have a lot of power, these little towns.
Anyway, but the impatience balsamina, and I tried to find the exact video where he was out there and they were trying to weed those out.
Yeah, it was kind of early.
Yeah, I just skip garden balsam because I think it's probably, you're just asking for trouble.
I wouldn't get it. Nope, nope,
No.
nope.
So anyway, but it is the year of the impatiens. Go get you some at the garden centers. They do need to be planted well after the first frost.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, well after the last frost, not the first
I know
frost,
what
the
you meant.
last frost.
Last frost. Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
Okay, the more you harvest, the quicker and easier it becomes. That's from Charles Dowding. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay.
Weeding's the same. Okay,
So I
vegetables.
also saw on Instagram, and you may have only put this in your stories.
Yeah.
You went over to the old place, as you called it,
Mm-hmm.
and you harvested some of the prettiest spinach I've ever seen.
I know it. So I put in that spinach, and the rabbits ate most of it last fall.
Uh-huh.
Okay, they jumped up in that bed and ate it, and then I went back yesterday and I looked, and there was like the biggest spinach one of the best spinach I've ever grown, and then one next to it. And it was 84 degrees yesterday. It's not today, it's cold today, but it was 84 degrees yesterday. And I thought I need to get that spinach and take it home before it bolts. And I ate a salad out of it. And I can show it. I showed that too. Yeah. It was really pretty.
The lesson in that is sometimes if you just leave well enough alone, you'll get something really marvelous.
Especially in fall gardening, because sometimes fall gardening overwinters.
Uh-huh.
And
None
then
of
it
mine
really starts to
overwintered.
grow in spring in Oklahoma.
So our
I have a lot
topic
of people
really,
reaching out and asking to buy my old house. So that's a good thing.
the more they reach out, the better for Dee and Bill.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay,
Anyway,
so first things to plant in a garden if you want a quick harvest and you don't have time to plow the back 40, so to speak. And you brought up leafy greens. Yeah.
yes, which would be like spinach. It's usually pretty quick. You suggested some of the Asian greens.
Bok choy. Bok choy
Bok-
is really easy to grow.
is it
Extremely
fast?
easy. Yeah, very fast.
Lettuces can be very fast if you're not waiting for them to head. If you're just planting the leaf lettuces, those
Hmm.
can be very quick as well, and you eat them small.
Hmm.
Swiss chard, which you put on the list, and it's like we neither one of us eat Swiss chard. Get
We don't
seduced
like
by a
it,
packet
but
of seeds with those pretty stalks and
it's
all those
such a pretty
colors,
vegetable.
and then neither one of us eats it.
No, because it sucks. It's a terrible vegetable. It tastes like, I don't know what it tastes like, but not happiness. It just,
So you can go ahead and plant those seeds for all of these things right now in Oklahoma, can't you?
oh, yeah, you should have. End of February,
Which
which
was
this is the
yesterday.
1st of March, so it's okay. Yeah.
Here,
I always did it the last week.
yeah, I would wait a few weeks here.
Mhm.
We're got another little cold spell coming in. I would wait a few weeks and then I would plant them. So
Yeah,
anyway, what
all
else you want
good.
to say about this? Is a very brief vegetable topic.
I mean, okay, so we didn't mention that you could also do onion starts to have green onions. That's fast. Radishes are fast.
Radishes are very fast.
Mm. That's all I can
Turnip
think of.
greens, if you want just the greens, they can be fast.
Yeah.
Kale,
Although
kale can be pretty quick.
kale can be pretty quick. I mean, it's kind of, especially if you have starts. Yeah, that's about it. Next week, we should talk about strawberries because people always want strawberries.
We have talked about strawberries before, and I'm happy to talk about them again. I would
I
actually
think we
go out and see
should.
how my strawberries overwintered because I did nothing to them.
Mine are okay at the old house.
So we can also talk about, is Dee going to move anything from the old house to the new house?
Yeah, we could talk about that.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going to bring this. I want to bring that. I'm going to bring this. I'm going to cut that.
Yeah, I'm going to take some things. Why not?
Yeah, you
I,
should.
I have some. I have some stuff that's priceless. Of course, I'm going to take it.
There you
I mean,
go.
there's just only so much room, though.
Yeah, you should. Never mind. We can talk about that next
We'll
week.
talk about it next week because
We
then
can
I'll
talk
be
about how
thinking
you
of
would
that.
transplant stuff next week when you don't know where to
Okay.
plant it yet.
I, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to transplant it when it's time to plant it. I haven't sold the house yet.
I know that, but if you don't have the place figured out where you want to plant it, how would you bring it over and hold it over until you had a new place?
You do that part.
Okay,
I'm
I'll do
not doing
that
that
part.
part. That's not me. Okay, ready to do the next quote.
The ordinary arts we practice every day at home are of more importance to the soul than their simplicity might suggest. Thomas More.
I love that.
On the bookshelf, and I'm sure you don't have any idea where it
No.
is. Oh.
I found it.
The Beginner's Cut Flower Garden, Grow, Nourish, and Create Bliss Year-Round by Elizabeth Brown. Photos by Elizabeth Fairchild.
And I even looked through it quite extensively.
It's very charming. I
It's
like it.
sweet. Sweet book.
Let me read you something. So from the author, and I
Okay.
really like that in the back, they have both the author's picture and the photographer's picture.
Mhm.
She writes in
Because
How to Use This Book. It is my hope that you use this book as inspiration and as a friendly guide to get yourself growing flowers and increasing joy and happiness in your life. There are many gardening books that can explain the techniques and the science behind growing flowers, and you'll likely turn to many of those when the time comes. But for now, let's do this together, season by season, as if we were in a supportive garden club.
I
Let
love
me
that.
help you walk through your first year. I thought that was really nice.
I read that too, and I thought the exact same thing. I thought, okay, this is my kind of book because it's. I mean,
But it's not
it's
just growing the flowers. She has
mm,
good tips on using the flowers, tips on flower arranging. She's got a whole section on natural dyes, what to do with pressed flowers. And it's divided spring, summer, fall, winter. So you kind of, well, actually, I think it starts in winter. So you can kind of go season by season. I really like it.
It's a beautiful book. It has great crafts in it. I love her tools, which are on page 79, the basic toolkit. And you can tell these tools are used and well loved. And they're very much
Yes.
the tools I use, actually, almost all of them. Which reminds me, I need to bring a shovel over here so I can dig out all those ugly plants that the landscape people put in. They're so bad.
Yeah,
Can I just say who limbs up a juniper and turns
who
it
limbs
into?
up a juniper?
Yeah, it's a little tiny juniper and it's limbed up. I'm like, why? Why would you even do that? It makes no sense.
Topiary.
It doesn't look like topiary. It looks like a Hershey's Kiss from HE double toothpicks. Okay, so back to her beautiful book. It's just
Yes.
beautiful. What do you want to say about it?
That's what I wanted to say about it. We do want to thank Timber Press because they sent us the review copies of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just say it's really well done, and I like how they've laid out topics and they have a lot of little notes and sidebars of some information. It's really
Yeah,
nice.
it's
She's
just
up there
beautifully
in
done.
Maine that way.
Mm-hmm. Which is nowhere like my climate, but it doesn't matter because a lot of this stuff, I mean, I grow all these things like straw flower, snapdragons, tassel flowers, zinnias. I grow all those. It's just my season is a little bit different. Well, I grew them. I grew them at my old house. I don't know how much space I'll have for a cut flower garden now.
Yeah, how big is your yard?
It's about
I'm
an
gonna,
acre, but most of it's the front yard.
well, I'm going to call it a yard until you have a garden in there.
It is a yard.
Everything, how to save seeds, how to close up your garden in the fall.
Mm-hmm.
She's got like 14 tips for floral design. And the first tip, you know what the first tip is, Dee?
No,
Practice non-judgment.
that's a good tip.
That is a very good tip. And then the last tip is if you hit a wall, stand back, walk away, stroll the garden for inspiration, and return. It's just really a nice book. They've just done a really good job with it. And I would press this into the hands of old and new gardeners who are like, I think I want to do a little bit more with cut flowers.
I
I
would
would press
too.
this book into their hands. It's not overwhelming the way it is like having a nice lady next door who knows how to garden, who's going to gently take you by the hand and show you what she does.
Gotta love that.
Yes. So anyway, I like it. The
I do
Beginner's
too.
Cut Flower Garden, Grow, Nourish, and Create Bliss Year Round by Elizabeth Brown. Photos by Elizabeth Fairchild. Thank you to Timber Press for sending us review copies.
It's
And
beautiful.
I will need to check. I know this came out this year, and I don't know. And I need to follow the author on Instagram, I think. I don't know exactly what day it came out, but I'll figure that out and put that in the show notes.
Okay. Sounds
Oh,
good to me.
do a quote.
To pay attention, this is our endless and proper work. Mary Oliver. Okay, the dirt you came up with, which is burp your house.
Yes, and I'll link to this article. I believe that they say the people in Germany especially practice this,
They do. Mhm.
but every day or once a week, I don't remember from the
They open
article.
their windows.
Open all the windows just a little bit, open the doors, let the old air out and the new air in,
Which we should
regardless
all
of the
do,
weather.
frankly. Our
Yes.
houses are so tight, especially new ones,
Yes, your house
that
is very tight.
yeah, my new one is. My old one isn't. It'll, it makes a difference. And I open my windows all the time. So it's a cool idea. I think that it's funny that they call it burp your house, but I mean, it's a cool idea.
Everybody remembers then what's going on.
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yes. And then there was another article on Marasens on Instagram.
Hmm.
I don't think I've said that correctly. Marcescens.
Oh, it's Marcescens. Yeah.
I don't know why I said
Isn't
that
that this
wrong.
when the leaves stay on?
The
Isn't that
leaves
what it
stay on,
is?
like the oak tree that's right outside my window here on the side of my front yard. It's still
Yeah.
holding on to its leaves. And
Cool.
so it's still holding on to those leaves. And they won't fall off until the new leaves arrive in the spring, start to push out, and then they'll push off the old leaves. But per the Instagram, where all truth lies, of course. But she said scientists don't really understand why some trees hold their leaves and others don't. And they
Right.
surmise it's a protective thing for the tree to protect the new buds from the cold, which I don't think that would make a difference. And protect it from wildlife, all kinds of theories out there, but nobody really knows for sure. So,
Okay. I'm
okay.
looking at my rabbit hole. That's what I was looking at on my phone real quick.
Okay. Here comes the quote. Spring never comes abruptly. It makes promises in a longer twilight or a day of warmer sunshine, and then takes them back in a dark week of storm. It gives presages, a thaw, a swelling of maple buds, a greening of grass, a flash of birdwing. Then snow falls and winter returns. Again and again, spring is here and not here. Bertha Damon.
Did you find that?
I did.
That's a good one. Oh, because she's your lost lady. Do you want to do that before I do mine?
Sure. Bertha Damon was the lost lady of garden writing from a week and a half ago. It'll be 2 weeks when this comes out. But she wrote, so what happened was our good friend Katie from the Garden of Words had messaged me on Instagram that she had bought a used book that she said made her think of me. And she showed a picture of it, and I realized, oh, I have that book, A Sense of Humus by Bertha Damon. I did not have her on my Lost Ladies list. I don't know why not.
Crazy.
I put her on there, Dee. She's a wild woman. She's a wild woman of the 1920s. I tell you what,
Oh,
she
she's one of
partied with
those.
Ansel Adams, a photographer, and all, was out there in California and with her first husband. He cheated on her with some graduate student at the University of California, and then she divorced him. And I found an article that said she seduced all of his male students. Oh my gosh. She got remarried, moved back to the East Coast, back to New Hampshire. And that's when she wrote. She had a big garden and she got involved with the garden clubs of New Hampshire. And anyway, she wrote this book. And it's her first book was called, Grandma called it Carnal, about her grandmother, because her grandmother raised her and her sister. Anyway, that book, if you can find it, I couldn't find a copy of it online. Just sounds hilarious because they said her grandmother, I forget how I don't know, very prim and proper Victorian lady, but also a devotee of Ralph Waldo Emerson. Go figure. Anyway, I just cracked up, and the book is kind of funny. And so I've been reading bits of it. I'm going to finish it because it was written in, I think,
Wild.
1947. Anyway, she was a hoot and a half. She was a hoot and a half.
Okay, you want to hear about my rabbit hole?
I have two others, but you do yours, and then I'll go back to mine.
No, I want to do mine last. So you go ahead.
So have you ever heard of Mrs. Polyfax?
Yes.
I had never read those, and somehow it came across, I don't know where I read it. Anyway, there's a series of books that were written in the late 60s and early 70s about mid 70s. There's 14 of them. And I started reading these Mrs. Polyfax mysteries. And the tagline I read somewhere says, she was tired of attending her garden club meetings. She wanted to do something good for her country. So the first book, she goes to CIA headquarters in Washington, D.C. and offers her services. And just from one fluke thing to the next, she ends up with an assignment that takes her to Mexico City. And then the second book I read in the series, they called her up because they needed somebody to do something in Turkey. It was just a real simple thing. Just go to Turkey for a week. You're going to hold a copy of Gone with the Wind. Somebody's going to approach you. That's all you got to do. And of course, it all goes haywire on her.
It goes south.
Goes south. And the final rabbit hole, Antique Roadshow's coming back to Indianapolis.
Cool.
In June. So I have submitted for free tickets, and I went when they were here in 2016. They didn't pick my stuff to be recorded for the show, but I've been texting with one of my sisters, like, what do you think this or what do you think that? And I've texted another sister and says, what about this? What about that? Trying to see if we can finagle tickets. So I'm trying to get them to submit for the random drawing, and they haven't yet. And then it's like if you have a specific item and you send a story about it and they like it, then they might pick you to go just because you have this story and this item. So I got one sister, I think something she has would be a good item. But anyway, I'm trying to figure out how to get on.
Maybe one of your historic gardening books and one of your lost ladies would be good.
No, those books they're not of great value.
That's true.
So that's, nice try, Dee, but not of great value.
Okay, sorry.
Now, the very last rabbit hole belongs to you, Dee.
Okay, so there's this thing, and it's called Martinitsi or Martinitsa. All right. And it's traditional Bulgarian bracelet. This really relates to spring. It's a bracelet and it's interwoven. It's threads, like crochet yarn or other
Uh-huh.
type of yarn, and it's red and white. And so people, and I don't know if I have a good picture because I have a picture of my friend wearing one, but I don't think he wants me to show his arm on here. But I'm going to do it like that. So people who watch this, that's what they look like. They
Uh-huh.
have a little deal on the end,
Little
and then
little
they have
bead
these
thing.
strings, right? And so they are popular because somebody gives them to you on March the 1st, and it's to celebrate Baba Marta, which is Grandma March. Okay. And it symbolizes health, strength, and the arrival of spring. Isn't this
Nice.
charming? Yes. And so you're supposed to wear this thing until you see a blooming tree or a stork, because the storks, I guess, come back to Bulgaria at this time of year. And so you wear it and then you hang them into a branch. You hang them on a branch for prosperity. It's
Ah,
just a cute little
it
deal,
is
and
fun.
they take it really seriously. So I had seen it on Instagram, and then he had mentioned it to me or sent me a video too. And then today they were all trading them. So I thought that was really sweet.
That is really sweet.
It
I
fits
like it.
into our deal. And it's all about spring, which is kind of a cool deal. Oh, I forgot to tell you, white represents purity and the melting snow, because they do get snow. Red symbolizes life, passion, and health.
Nice.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Rabbit hole.
All right. A garden to visit.
Oh, the Tucson Botanical Gardens, which I thought about this week actually quite a bit because I was talking about them to someone. So when we went to Tucson for garden writers,
Yep.
we went to that mission garden, but we also went to the Tucson Botanical Gardens. And what I remember about those, I remember two things. Number one was the cactus, the big tall cactus.
Right.
I remember those. And I also remember when we walked inside the gates, there was a lady holding a hawk, a
Huh.
great
I
big,
don't
huge
remember any of
hawk.
that. Were you and I at the
And
same time?
yeah, we were at the same time, but you just don't remember it. It's just a little different. Everybody remembers different things. Um,
What I remember, and you can correct me if I'm got wrong, but they had
mhm.
like little pocket gardens that were all in different styles, representing the
Yes, they
different
did.
types of home gardens that people would have.
Right.
I thought that was very interesting.
It is a beautiful place too.
Yeah, and I'm looking at their website, and
I
they've
am
got
too.
the 50 up there, which makes me wonder if they aren't celebrating their 50th anniversary or just did celebrate their 50th anniversary.
They probably did. And I love this quote. The Tucson Botanical Garden is a lovely hideaway in the middle of Tucson. It is quaint and peaceful. I could see myself going there for a cup of tea with a friend.
Ah, yes.
And then there's the background is a yucca plant, and there's a honeybee going to the bright red blooms on the red yucca. So that's cool.
Very nice. And it sounds like they have a lot of different displays through the year. So depending on when you went, you might see something different than Dee and Carol saw. Hopefully you see
Yeah,
something
because
different.
Dee saw a hawk. I just remember thinking how cool that was. And I remember it because I also asked the lady if it was okay if I published it, the picture. I said,
Ah, and
but
she
you
said,
know what?
sure.
She said, sure. And then I never did do it because something came up, but it was a really cool thing. So now we're to garden commissions. Haha, I'll do mine first. I'm getting that black mulch out of that bed. That's the
Yeah.
first thing I'm doing. I'm going to get on my gloves. I'm going to get my rake out, and I'm going to throw all that in my garbage can. It'll make me feel better.
It's
And
just the
no
one area,
people,
right?
there's two areas in front, but they're small. So for me, it'll be easy. And I'm also going to dig up those ugly plants that I hate so much.
So on when you're digging everything up, what are you going to do to amend the soil before you plant something more permanent there? Or
I'm
are
going
you
to
going
put
to?
back, oh yeah, I'm going to put back to nature on top. That's my third thing to do. And I don't know if I'll get it all done this week because we're supposed to get a lot of rain this week. So we'll see. It'll be rain dependent. And I also have at least one client, maybe two this week. So busy, busy.
So I also might be watching it rain all week. There's rain in the forecast. I mean, high percentages of rain in the forecast
Here
for
too.
the whole week.
Mhm.
But I can go buy pansies and violas at any time. And the reason I didn't go last week was because honestly, the containers in the back, the soil was still frozen in the ones up closer to the house. And it's like, that's got to thaw out before I'm going to buy those. I don't want to keep in flats over here. I'll just have Courtney at the greenhouse
Right.
keep them for a while. They're not going to sell out real quick. So I might end up going down there to get those. And also, depending on the rain, I'd like to get some leaves picked up. The area under the bird feeders is nasty, beyond nasty, and then it's got a layer
Yeah.
of nasty on it. So I need to get that cleaned up. And I actually thought that it would be easier to scoop up wet and get it out of there. But
I have scooped it up wet, all the shells and all the other yuck that gets underneath the bird feeders, because it used to happen in my old garden.
yeah, I'm
Which,
just
by the
gonna.
way, we are going to hang. We're going to get. I bought one of those shepherd hooks with the two sides. We're going to put those out the back window so Bill can have his bird feeders.
Very good, very good. I was going to also suggest maybe you need to put up a bluebird house or two.
Yeah, we definitely need a bluebird house or two, and we have two of them at home, the old home. But I
So,
don't have a fence, Carol.
oh, to hang it on.
Not right now.
Oh. Well,
Yeah,
anyway, it sounds like we're all kind of like, well, if it doesn't rain, we got stuff we're going to do. But if it rains, there ain't nothing much we can do. So I'm going to wrap us up.
we're going to read Mrs. Polyfax.
Yeah, I'm going to read more Mrs. Polyfax. Oh, I read Wendell Berry's new book, Mars Catlet.
Was it good?
Prepare yourself to read it. It is good, but it's
If it's negative, I can't read it right now.
it's not negative, but here's what it tells you. From one generation to the next, the stories slowly slip away.
That's what I was thinking about with the Martnizzi today. The bracelets. I was thinking about how that country has done a really good job of keeping its traditions all together because it's a small country in spite of being invaded and stuff. And I was thinking about in the United States, a lot of our traditions are slipping away. I was thinking about that as I was driving today.
Well, it starts with the story of Mars Catlin in the early 1900s and how he couldn't make anything off a cotton crop because the monopolies would pay you pennies for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next generation is the son. And if you had, I shouldn't have just talked extemporaneously about this because I can't remember the son's name, but the one that became the attorney. It's all fictional, but it's kind of based on his own family. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, and for him, farming was a sideline, and because he was an attorney, but he helped establish the cooperative that helped the farmers get a reasonable price.
Right.
And then comes the grandson, Andy. And in Andy's generation, they no longer were doing the entire tobacco crop by hand. And they explained the whole process of what it took to grow a decent leaf of tobacco. And it was a
It's
pretty
hard.
labor intensive process, which then, they've come in and tried to mechanize. And I've watched the documentary, which I don't think is on anymore, where Wendell Berry talks about how when they brought in the mechanization, no more could you take 40 acres and make a livelihood out of it. You had to have 400 acres because you had to pay for all this machinery.
Same thing here.
So anyway, but by the time you get to the third generation, they don't remember the story of the original grandfather who couldn't get a penny off his crop because of how it used to be done. And the old ways just
Mm-hmm.
kind of slip away. And, my father grew up on a farm and I'm like, and I'd been talking to my aunt a while back about all this stuff she has. And she said, nobody wants it, but it has only meaning to her and her brother because they lived it. And now
Mm-hmm.
it's just stuff nobody wants. So there's a certain melancholy sadness of,
Where did this fit into the podcast? How did we
because
get?
you said I should read Mrs. Polyfax, and I said, and in between I read
Ah,
Mars Catlet by Wendell
yeah, it's
Berry.
just depressing. Yeah.
But
No,
Mrs.
thank you.
Polyfax is absolutely hilarious.
And
She's my age.
lightweight.
Yes, and lightweight, and she gets herself in trouble and out of trouble, and then the CIA people are like, I don't know how you pulled that off. So anyway, on that happy note of the idea that Carol's going to go listen to another Mrs. Polyfax mystery, thank you for listening to The Garden Angelist. We publish every week on Wednesdays at 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Be sure and follow us on Apple Podcasts, that helps us get noticed by others.
If you subscribe to our Substack newsletter, you get a link to listen to the hot podcast a whole day early and links to the products we discuss. Plus, go over to YouTube and see us in person. Full episodes show up on Tuesdays. So if you can't wait until Wednesday, you now have 2 ways to get episodes on Tuesdays.
And if you want to help support us, use our affiliate links. If you buy something after clicking through on them, we're in a small commission and it costs you nothing.
Or you can set up a monthly subscription through Buzzsprout, or you can make a one-time donation through PayPal. You also have the option of pledging your support on Substack.
Thank you to everyone who has done so. It helps us pay for podcast hosting.
It was lovely to chat with all of you over the Garden Gate. Bye until next week.
Bye, everybody.